Hi everybody, this is M from DIYM, and today I'm doing kind of an interesting video. For those of you who like sparkly things but don't really love the mess that sparkly things can give, I'm going to talk about and demonstrate stuff that could be either no mess or maybe a little bit of mess that's not so hard to clean up. So we're all used to fine glitter and the mess that it gives. Obviously there's chunky glitter too. I don't have any chunky glitter available really, but there's chunky glitter you can get. So that's a little bit easier to see and clean up. But I find when you use fine glitter, it's just everywhere and you just don't want to deal with the cleanup of it. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to avoid most of the mess and the constant cleanup, because it feels like you're getting glitter out of yourself for decades, right? Like it's just always around after you use it. So I have a few tips and tricks for people who love glitter and hate the mess it gives you. So what I do, because I love glitter personally, I didn't used to love glitter just because I thought it was super messy, just like most of you guys who probably click this video out there. But I've found a few things over the years that make things a lot easier so that it's not so crazy of a mess. And I just figured I'd share it with you guys. Okay, so the first thing is I have this, if you're doing paper crafts specifically, I have more ideas for paper crafts, but I do have some ideas I'm going to share about other things like fabric crafts and stuff like that. And so stay tuned to that in case you work with more fabric and yarn and textile stuff. So this is a white glitter cardstock. It's a printable one that I get. I've printed off things on it and it's actually really, really good. The ink shows up obviously and it still keeps this nice glittery effect, but it looks, as you can see in this light, I know that there's a bag on top so it's going to be extra shiny, but it looks really glittery. It looks like a very fine glitter. Here, I'm going to show you. So I get this from Amazon. It's actually a no shed glitter. I've talked about it in one of my other videos. I think it was my Rosette video, but I just wanted to show you guys this anyways. So it's like this. So it looks like it's going to come off for sure, right? There's not a single sparkle on that thumb. I can just go like this. There's nothing on it. So there's no shed glitter that you can actually get. As I said, you can print on it, which is really, really cool in case you want to make some sort of embellishments with it. I'm going to link it down below, all these things if I can, just so you guys can find them and play around with that stuff. So hopefully it's available, because I think it was a little harder to find for me, or the price has been boosted. But yeah, this is another no shed glitter. It's a black one. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Do you guys see this? No glitter on my thumb whatsoever. So I personally love stuff like this. So there's a white and a black version. I love the white, and you can probably find some other colors, but I love the white because you can print on it with whatever color you want. You probably don't have to paper piece as much stuff if it's a photo or an illustration or something like that, and you can just cut things out. Honestly, it makes things so much more fun. Personally, I love glittery things. I think the shine, I love gems, I love shiny glittery things. Another thing you can do is get shimmer paper. There's other colors, but I got this green one just for some specific embellishments. It's harder to see this one, and it's more of a subtle effect and shine, but it's almost like a gold shimmery look. So that kind of gives things a little bit more of a classy, special quality. It's not a regular paper. I really, really like the effect that it gives. Metallics do kind of a similar thing. If you like metallics, it gives a nice shine. There's always that as well, but I just figured I'd show you guys more glitter and shimmery stuff, more so than metallics, because you guys already know about metallics. Another thing you can do, and I've done this in a few of my videos, you can always add vinyl. This one's water resistant adhesive, so it's basically clear. Some of them are clear. This one's a mixed pack, and I'm gonna link that down below if I can find it again. So you can get all sorts of different pretty holographic sparkles. So you can make anything holographic. It could be completely plain paper. I did a video showing stickers that I covered with more of a sand star look or glitter look, one of those. And then I also took the rainbow one, so it's a nice rainbow sheen that you sort of see on most holographic papers. And I actually made something metallic look more like hollow. This was just metallic before, but it has a nice rainbowy sheen. You can sort of see me. Hi. Yeah, so it's more of like a mirror metallic paper that I used for that. So that was just with using the rainbow one. I found some rainbow holographic sheets. It was from the same company and it looked like this online, but then I found out that it was actually just strictly hollow. It had like a metallic thing already on the back and it was stickers on the back. You can make cool holographic stickers with it, but I'm just saying this is kind of nice, this clear stuff, to put over almost anything and make it look like holographic. So that's really cool. That's another idea in case you like that kind of look. As I said, you can do cool snowflakes and hearts and broken glass, it's called, and butterflies butterflies and glitter stars, all sorts of really fun. I love Holo because it's almost like an AB finish kind of look. Like AB is like Aurora Borealis kind of look. It's very colorful in specific lights. It just looks really good. Another thing obviously is gems. And you can use things like pearls too, because pearls give a nice different sparkle, or anything that's opalescent as well. It gives a beautiful look to things. As you can see, I have a few gems. I have some gem stickers as well. So these are really fun. These are different shapes. So this is more circular, and these are more, I don't want to say teardrop. What are they? They're almost like oval with a point. I don't even know, like an eye shape. I don't know. If you know what it's called, maybe you tell me down below the specific shape. But yeah, there's all sorts of really cool ones. This one's more like a pearl flat back bead. I have all these. These ones, just ignore this because this is not obviously sparkly, but more like clay fruits and stuff. But I've got rainbowy gems. So it really depends on what you're putting these gems on. But I recommend, if you're doing paper, I recommend using these kind of glues. I find that they adhere pretty well as long as you leave them overnight. Let them dry quite a while. So this is a Dimensional Magic. They're almost like a resin-like glue, but yeah, you just need a tiny little drop of this on there just to adhere things. So they look much like resin, both of these glues, but they're not. They're just shiny. I think both of them are non-toxic as far as I know. Doesn't have the crazy fumes that resin normally gives you. So I often recommend these guys if you like a resin look to things. It does have a dome shape, so you might see a little bit of this glue seeping out, but if you don't mind a little bit of shine coming out of it, I think that it looks quite nice. Glossy Accents is another similar thing to the Mod Podge, different brand. This one's from Ranger. I think both of them are really nice looks. But yeah, in case you want to glue it on fabric, these are kind of my go-to glues. There's an okay to wash one. You can get all sorts of different fabric glue. So Weld Bond works really well. It normally bonds to pretty much almost anything: wood, tile, glass, styrofoam, fabrics, ceramics, and much more. The only thing it doesn't seem to adhere to is plastic, so just be wary of that. Also, it's a white glue, both of these. So I would say let these guys dry for quite a while. Obviously, you can also use hot glue. Depending on what you're gluing on, there's different types of hot glue. There's stuff for fabric and stuff for paper and all that sort of stuff. So use your discretion with that and figure out what you're crafting with. Also, a lot of people like to use Gorilla Glue. It's a very tacky glue. Same with E6000. It's a very tacky glue. This one's a lot more toxic. Just like to tell you guys about the non-toxic things first. See? The green choice. Non-toxic. It says right here, non-toxic. So bonds to almost anything. So there's that. I like to give you guys the more non-toxic options for things. Now, with this, I've actually done, and I will show you really quickly. So I've used the sparkly paper that I was showing you earlier, the black one. I made this in another video for Halloween last year. This, I put the Dimensional Magic down, sprinkled some fine glitter kind of like this. I think it was more of a silver version. So sprinkled that down. I had a piece of paper down, so kind of like I did with my embossing video. I had a piece of paper down, folded it in half. I normally just use regular printer paper. I find that does a trick. And I can just funnel that stuff back into this thing, so it doesn't normally get everywhere. So that's another hot tip in case you do want to use some sort of fine glitter. Yeah, so I put down the glitter and then I put this over top to seal it. As you can see, it's kind of dimensional. It's just a little bit puffy. Anyways, you can sort of see it a little bit here. It's a little bit puffy. There's a little bit of glitter still on this that sort of went underneath this rim here, because this is actually just paper overlapping. So I think that just glued on there. But yeah, basically I just put that down. I made sure it dried overnight. And once it dried, I just brushed it off onto that paper that I was telling you about and just poured it back into the jar, funneled it back in. And then what I can also do, if it's a fine glitter, I like to use this little vacuum I got this from Temu, I think. It's very quiet. It's not tremendously quiet, but it has like a bit of a loudness to it. I find that that cleans up a lot of stuff on my table. Another thing you can also use for that is like a vacuum. I think I showed you guys this in my organizational video. This is a pet hair one. So in case you do have some sort of paper that has glitter coming off on your hand, I would recommend maybe doing a spray. There are spray Mod Podges. This one's a gloss. There's matte ones, but you just use this. If something's sparkly, I would recommend using a gloss to seal things. So this is an all-in-one glue and sealer, multi-surface. But yeah, this is perfect in case you have a whole bunch of glitter coming off on something. Maybe give this a spray over top of it, and that would really help to seal things in. You could do a couple coats and that might actually help. So if you want to keep that shine, don't go for a matte. If you want something that's a little shiny, you might want more, I don't know if they have it, but you might want more of a satin finish, because that is more of an eggshell finish between matte and glossy. But I find gloss is really good if you want something really glittery and shiny. Another thing you can do, obviously it's a little harder though to do, but you can use this Mod Podge gloss as well, depending on what size you want. I have very small and very large. I finally found this. I know I lost this for a long time, so I ended up buying this, but yeah, I finally found this, so that's good. But yeah, you can use that and brush that on, but just note that things are going to get a little bit everywhere. But yeah, sometimes people like sparkly cards, they just don't want to get it all over themselves. So another cool thing is an actual spray shimmer, sheer shimmer craft spray sparkle. So again, this can get a little messy. I'm showing you stuff from not very messy to a little messier, right? So this can get a little messy if you spray this on. Just shake this up. It's kind of a metallic-y spray. I'm going to show you on this piece of paper here how this works and how sparkly this is, because I actually haven't tried this myself, so this is actually my first time doing this. But this can give anything you want that's not sparkly a little bit of shimmer and shine, so that's kind of nice. So I'm just shaking that a bit, do it at a bit of a distance, but just be careful if you don't want it to get everywhere. Okay, this is a mixed media paper, and you can see in the light, I know it's wet still, I'll just let this dry a little bit, but you can see in the light that it's shimmery. I'm also going to get another sheet just to show you this other thing that I'm going to do. So this is actually metallic sparkly watercolors, which you can totally use on, I would say, watercolor paper or some sort of mixed media paper as well. So I'm going to bring this guy out again. This is a new fresh sheet. You can get any kind of synthetic brush. Stuff for watercolors specifically is better to have. Just going to dip it in some water here. Just have a little bit of water here. But yeah, you can use this palette, which is really cool. You can put it over here. I've used this before in another video. I can use these sponges, but I'm going to just use a little bit of paper towel. You can use whatever kind of dampness you want. You can wipe off your brush on the sponge or this paper towel. But yeah, I'm just going to swatch this. This might not show up so well because it's white. If you want to get some specific colors off, you can do that on your paper towel. Wet it again a little bit. So I'll just do the next color here, 281. But yeah, these guys shimmer quite a bit when they're dry. They do a little bit when they're wet as well, obviously, but when they're dry, they do look nice, and I will show you guys how they look in the light. You can add more color just by dipping it again. But these colors are so shimmery. Oh, these ones have shimmer, but they also have fluorescent colors. So I'm gonna avoid fluorescent colors. So these guys here are more the fluorescent colors, brights and metallics. And you can keep building the color like this. When you're swatching, you can always do one swipe and then two swipe just to show how transparent or how opaque the colors really are. I find swatching is a really good idea. Just wanted to show you guys all the different colors that this palette has and how you can shimmer things up if you want to. Depends on what effect you kind of want. If you want a nice watercolory effect, metallic watercolors are kind of a nice way to go to shimmer something up. That one looks pretty. Some of these guys, you really have to swatch it out because things tend to look darker when you wet the pigments. Or lighter, depending too. Some pigments might look a little bit more solid in the pan. This is a pan palette. Did I go over this guy? I feel like it looks quite light. I'm gonna go over that one as well. Whoa, that one's really, really wet. Didn't mean to do that. I don't have my overhead light on just because it's easier to see the shimmer, I think, with my lights off and more natural light coming in. And then this is the last color here. So I'm gonna let this dry and then I'll show you guys how that shimmers in the end when it does dry. So I'll leave it for maybe an hour or two and then come back and show you. Okay, so I let things dry a little bit so you can see this shimmer. Look at this. This is so nice. It's a little bit wet still and it is coming off my hand slightly, so you might want to spray it with some sort of spray on sealer like this if you really want to seal in the sparkle and not have it come off on your fingers like this. Gives you a nice fairy like look, right? I don't remember exactly where I got this. I think I got this from online somewhere, maybe on Amazon. I'll look for that and I'll see if I can find it in case you guys like that. But yeah, this is nice in case you want something to have more of a shimmery look. I would say if you want it to be a lot more fine, spray it well away from this, but you might have some globs like this, but it still looks really pretty. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you're just doing it over some lovely background color, like you just have some pretty paint blotches, that just makes things a lot more sparkly and shimmery. So really like that look. So this is not going to go to waste. I'm definitely going to put this in my swatch binder. I'm going to cut it down to size to maybe 8.5 by 11. So that's that. And I did this. So this is my koi watercolors that I did earlier. Oh, I need to wash this off too because it sort of glittered up my mat here. Can't really see it it very well on camera, but I can see it off to the side here. You can see this in the light. I turned on my light. I thought it was helping to not have it on, seeing the shimmer, but yeah, I think it helps quite a bit to have the light on. But I also have a bit of natural light still coming in, so it looks really pretty. But see how much this shimmers? It's so metallic-y and beautiful, and lots of different really fun pigments. So that's that. And again, there's matte colors of this as well. This is just a specialty pack that I got, Pocket Field sketch box, and it has 24 colors, which is cool. As I said, it's metallics, but also fluorescent and bright tones. So I numbered them all. Again, with my horrible handwriting. As you can see here, I screwed up this one a little bit, but it's following these number systems here, so I can tell what number it is. And I tried to do it the way that it has on the palette. You can create palettes like this. You can buy palettes like this, and then you can shift the pans around sometimes. There's more liquidy watercolors in tubes. You can actually make pans by pouring those out and letting them dry for a while, and then they'll just harden and turn into pans like this. You want to take like a bunch of different colors that are more to your tastes and what you use for palettes. Yeah, you can create all sorts of different palettes that way. There's lots of cool things you can do with watercolor, but that's just one method. There's also obviously metallic acrylics and things like that that you can get. Lots of different brands have cool metallics. You can use iridescent colors. You can just put over top of things or mix with other paints. There's that as well. But yeah, if you're specifically using paper and doing card making, watercolors are a really nice choice to use. Yeah, so this did get a little messy with the spray, but this is a little bit more controlled. This can get messy depending on how much water and stuff like that you put down. Yeah, obviously this is probably the messiest thing that I'm going to show you. It's not as controlled, I find, unless you can lie down some sort of surface, big sheets of paper. I've used Crust and Seal. You can put down canvas, tablecloth, dollar store, cheapy stuff, all sorts of stuff that you can put down on the surface of your tables so that it doesn't get too messy and glittery. But obviously there's other ways like this to clean things up as well, depending. Or I'm just going to wipe this, spray it off with my normal household cleaner that I use. There's that. Another few things that I don't really have in my possession that you might want if you're doing more fabric textile stuff. You can get glitters that are iron-on vinyl that have like plastic coating on it, but then they have sparkles underneath, and then you just heat it. So those are nicer. They don't come off with your clothes. There's lots of fabrics that already have metallic thread stitched all the way through. Same with some yarns might have some sort of nice metallic thread in it, so those I find are nicer because the glitter doesn't easily come off. I find that's something that I would look for mainly. I don't like wearing stuff where the glitter comes right off, but yeah, those are kind of nice things to add to fabric. Sequins is another thing that people tend to use. Obviously you can use the gems that I showed you earlier. Gems and metallic-y. There's metallic-y things like this, but yeah, you can use sequins to give a shimmery kind of look as well. You can use fabric paints. Yeah, this is like a glittery fabric paint by Tulip, so it's going to be more dimensional, but you can put that on fabric and other things. You guys have seen me working with Puffy paints. There's also shimmery and glittery. There's Pops of Color, but there's other brands too. I just happen to have the Pops of Color brand from scrapbook.com. There's all sorts of different colors and pearl shimmery ones. I think I got more shimmer ones than glitter. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff that I don't have that I can't show you, but like I would say just check out the internet and see what there is. Try to look specifically for no shed glitter stuff. Hopefully that'll help your search out a little bit. Obviously, there's some things that are a little messier than others like this, but most of the things I showed you are mostly no shed or no mess glitter or shimmer options. But yeah, if you're using a fine glitter, get a piece of paper. It could be cardstock, it could be printer paper, whatever. Just fold it in the center before you start, kind of like the embossing powder I've used in the past. When you pour out something, I normally like to use salt and pepper shakers at the dollar store. You can get smaller bottles as well. These ones are quite large for what I have, but yeah, you can just sprinkle that over top of the paper. Do some of the methods that I showed you and talked about. You can spray this over top of it, let that dry or whatever, and then obviously when you're done with that, use the excess glitters by just taking off the lid and pouring that stuff back in so you don't get so messy. Anyways, I hope that helps you guys. This is just scratching the surface here, but yeah, you can definitely use so many different types of things to make things still glittery or shimmery, and it's just not as much of a mess in the end. It may not even be much of a mess when you're using it, which I think is always really nice when you can keep your surfaces really clean. I don't know, I'm kind of a neat freak, as you probably noticed on my channel. I don't really like getting too messy with my stuff, but I still love results and things looking creative and pretty and stuff like that in the end. But yeah, if in case you guys don't like the mess as well that glitter and shimmer gives you, these are just a few options. Obviously this is not much of an option, but I just wanted to put that in there just for fun. But yeah, so I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, maybe subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet. In case you like this video and you think that somebody everybody is going to love it, please share the video. So hopefully it's helpful for somebody out there. I don't know. I feel like that was one of the biggest complaints when I was working in an art store. People loved glitter, but they just found it really, really messy. So I just figured I'd show you guys a few different solutions that I've come up with for my own personal uses. And I just figured that it would help you guys out along the way as well. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. And yeah, I'm just gonna close with this video. Okay, take care everybody. Have a good one. Bye.